Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating dietary explainer from Halal Radar. We're looking at a massively popular candy, one you've probably seen a million times in the checkout aisle, and we're examining it through a very specific lens.
So, here's the big question. Are Skittles Gummies halal? I mean, we're talking about a bright, fruity, world-famous snack here. It's soft, it's colorful, and it looks entirely innocent. But as Halal Radar's analysis points out, for halal-conscious consumers, appearances can be deeply deceiving. Is this quick snack actually safe to eat under Islamic dietary rules? To find out, we have to trace exactly what goes into making it.
Section 1. Regular Skittles versus Gummies. Spotting the difference. You know, the very first step of our investigation actually requires us to clear up a massive misconception. Regular Skittles and Skittles Gummies, they are absolutely not the same product. A super common yet dangerous mistake that Halal Radar highlights is assuming that just because the classic hard-shell candy is safe, the gummy version must be fine too. But that danger is hidden right there in the word gummies.
Section 2. Investigating the ingredients. Checking the fine print.
To figure out why, we have to look past that beautiful rainbow-colored packaging and actually read the fine print. When you scan the label, you'll spot several components. You've got natural and artificial flavors, colors, acids, oils, and glazing agents. Now, Halal Radar notes that while these can definitely raise some secondary questions, they aren't the main issue triggering the alarm bells for halal consumers. Section 3. The gelatin problem. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it reveals the absolute primary culprit in our investigation: gelatin. The second this one specific word pops up on a candy label, the halal question shifts from a casual check to a very serious concern. Gelatin is an ingredient usually made by processing animal bones, skin, or connective tissue. Halal Radar draws a really sharp contrast here. You think you're holding a soft, fruity piece of candy, but it literally gets its chewy texture directly from processed animal parts. Crazy, right? So, why exactly is this a problem? Well, the source of that animal tissue dictates everything. If the gelatin is derived from pork, it is categorically haram, meaning totally forbidden. But even if it's derived from beef, if that animal was not slaughtered according to strict halal rules, many halal authorities and practicing Muslims still consider it completely unacceptable. So the natural next step for a consumer is to just check the bag, right? Does the Skittles Gummies package clearly say halal gelatin? Nope. Does it carry a reliable halal certification on the common versions you'd find in most stores? Again, no. Does the label give you enough information to confirm the gelatin source is safe? The answer is a resounding no. The certification is completely missing.
Section 4. The Islamic dietary context. Moving beyond appearances.
To really grasp why this lack of certification matters so deeply, we need to understand the framework of Islamic dietary doctrine. Halal Radar makes the point that Islam goes far beyond what a piece of candy looks like on the surface. It rigorously questions its origins. Where does this food come from? How exactly is it made? And ultimately, is it pure? It's a highly holistic approach to consumption that demands total transparency. Which brings us to a core religious concept defining this whole approach: halal and tayyib, which essentially translates to lawful and pure. This is the driving imperative from Muslim consumers. Food must not only be technically permitted, but it also has to be wholesome and pure. When an ingredient's origin is mysterious, like uncertified gelatin, it directly challenges that entire standard. The source also provides some amazing context with religious teaching. The Prophet taught that whoever avoids doubtful matters protects his religion and his honor. Think about that for a second. This elevates the act of checking a candy label from just a simple dietary preference into an actual spiritual practice. When the origin of the gelatin is doubtful, avoiding it is seen as a tangible way of protecting one's faith. And Halal Radar grounds all these abstract religious concepts with a very practical reality check. We are talking about Skittles Gummies here. Candy is not a necessity. It's definitely not life-saving medicine, and eating it is certainly not a survival situation. The source argues that taking a religious or dietary risk just for a simple sweet simply isn't necessary, especially when perfectly good halal-certified alternatives are out there. Section 5. The final verdict. Halal Radar's conclusion. After separating the regular candy from the gummies, analyzing the gelatin problem, and putting it all into context, what is the official conclusion?
So the crucial point is Halal Radar's definitive verdict. Avoid, because Skittles gummies contain gelatin, and the common versions are not clearly halal certified or verified to use halal slaughtered non-pork gelatin. Without that verification, it's simply not a safe bet for the halal-conscious consumer.
If you're watching this explainer and suddenly realize you've already bought a bag, or you're just looking for alternatives, Halal Radar provides these clear, actionable steps. Step 1. Always check the ingredient label specifically for gelatin. Step 2. If gelatin is there, aggressively look for a reliable halal certification. And Step 3. If it's not certified, don't just assume it's safe. Instead, go find clearly gelatin-free or certified alternatives.
But before you head down the candy aisle, keep this absolute critical caveat in mind. Always check the exact product, the exact country of origin, and the specific package right there in your hand. Why? Because candy formulas can and regularly do change depending on where they are manufactured and sold. Constant vigilance is basically required.
Leaving one doubtful candy behind is a small sacrifice, but as the source points out, it brings a clean heart and real peace of mind. It really makes you think about our everyday consumption habits. Are you checking your own snack labels closely enough? Thanks for joining me to unpack this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.